Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We had the draft on Smackdown. In the 2016 draft, I didn't get a chance to watch the show. I went out to dinner. I actually came home from dinner and I did watch wrestling. I watched Nakamura versus Finn Balor from NXT last week, and I honestly thought that that match lived up to the hype. I was glad that my lady friend watched the match with me, and she really did enjoy watching the match, and it seemed like she really did have a lot of fun. I was really nervous during it, and I did the Balor every time it happened, and she laughed at me for doing it. And I thought that match was really good. But in this video, we're gonna be running down basically the results of the draft. Seth Rollins was the overall #1 pick. He will be wrestling for SmackDown. I apologize. He will be wrestling for Raw as a part of the red team. Stephanie McMahon making him the #1 pick. Rollins really is sort of the future of wrestling. I think I was very negative on him for a good amount of time last year when he was champion. And then honestly, once he had his injury and he was gone, I really started to miss the guy, and I really started to notice how good of a wrestler he really was, and how, even though his matches were coming out of disqualifications, countouts, cheap victories due to, J&J security or Kane on the outside, I really liked watching his matches, and they were really good. I'm not sure if Dean Ambrose was the #2 pick, but he was very high. He will be taking the WWF Championship to SmackDown, although they have the three-way involving Roman Reigns, which will be going down on the pay-per-view at Battleground. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, I honestly would think that Ambrose, to me, honestly, he's not that great of a champion. I was really surprised that they had him be champion going into the draft show. I wouldn't be surprised if Rollins wins it. I wouldn't be surprised if Reigns wins it. Basically, when you look at the draft order, Brock Lesnar was picked by the Raw brand, and then immediately the next pick, Roman Reigns, was picked by the Raw brand. Two guys out on Lesnar hasn't been suspended yet for failing the drug test in UFC. He probably won't be he probably won't be suspended in WWE, but he will be suspended by UFC, and he won't be able to fight for them for a good while. We'll see. Maybe he beats the case, but more than likely, probably he won't. But I found it funny that Raw picked two guys with back-to-back picks with PED failures recently that are supposed to be two of the main building blocks of this company that hold it together. It is what it is. Very surprised that Charlotte went as high as she did, especially with the fact that people were thinking that we were going to be getting a Stephanie McMahon versus Charlotte match. I know that Charlotte is the champion of the women's division. She will be bringing the women's title with her. But honestly, in my opinion, I know that they've been building Charlotte up to be, something that's real to the company and be a real, Ronda Rousey to the WWE Women's Division, even though she has a great supporting cast of Becky Lynch, Paige, Sasha Banks, lots of girls out there to help support her and make her be a great wrestler and be a good champion. She is the face of the division right now. She held the title going into WrestleMania. She won the match. Even though Sasha had a really good outing, Becky Lynch did as well. We'll see what goes on with that. Basically, splitting up the women's division, some of them going to Raw, some of them going to SmackDown. The division hasn't really lived up to the hype that it was going to have when the three girls debuted, basically around SummerSlam last year. It's not really at the point where we thought it was going to be. We had a long series of feuds involving, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and Paige, and who was friends and who wasn't friends. The whole Team Bella and Team Bad ordeal. It never really lived up to what it was going to. They had a really great match at WrestleMania. They had a really good spot at WrestleMania. But, I don't know, splitting up the division, having them going different directions, we'll have to see what it is from there. I had a moment at work when I picked up my phone It was already about 5:30, maybe even 5:45. So SmackDown had been going on for a good while, and basically I saw the top picks. I believe it was the top 10 picks at the time I picked up my phone for Raw and SmackDown. And I popped huge for the fact that Finn Balor was picked and he will be a part of Monday Night Raw. I really do believe that more than likely Finn Balor is going to be the future of wrestling. I think that he is so cool. I think that his matches are awesome, and I can't wait to see what he does on the main roster. Him being the first pick from NXT, not only that, being involved in the, I want to say he was probably picked fourth, fifth, or sixth, somewhere in there. Like, he was really, really high on the draft board, and for him to be coming in tells you that he is going to be a big deal. John Cena, SmackDown, Roman Reigns, Raw. Those are probably the two guys that are going to be the building blocks. AJ Styles is another guy that got a really high selection. He deserved it. I think that if it was not Seth Rollins being the number one pick in the draft, AJ Styles was the guy that really did deserve that spot as well. We saw Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson drafted to Raw. So it looks like the club is being broken up via the draft. I'm guessing we could get the Balor Club out of this whole deal, is the one thing. Basically, they just pick Balor up and they're off and running, a lot like what they did. But I guess it was the opposite with the Bullet Club. But we'll see. Dean Ambrose was able to get the win and keep the title in the main event. So the championship is going to be staying with SmackDown. We'll have to see how this evolves into Monday Night Raw, getting their own title. I think that Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley both made good GM decisions to go along with the show. Stephanie and Shane always going to be bickering and fighting in the background. We'll have to see what they do from here. But basically, Jordan and Gable joining SmackDown is a huge ordeal. I'm surprised that they wasted a pick on the Big Show. And I don't know. It just seems like he doesn't really fit into there. Neville being picked to go to Raw means his return is going to be huge. And hopefully he gets used in the right way. Monday Night Raw is going to be using the cruiserweights in the cruiserweight division. Hopefully Neville will be a big part of the building blocks of that, and hopefully be the cruiserweight champion if they do have that belt come to be. But I think that Neville, honestly, even when there was no cruiserweight division, I think that he could have been a main player in WWE, sort of, going in the direction they used with Daniel Bryan of not really having the big guy be the guy, and just basically going out there and having great matches and, burning the house down as a way of getting over and coming together. So we'll see. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you guys down the road.